Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the channel, and today we have a pretty special video for you guys. We are taking a look at the fastest rising star within the golf social media space, that is GM Golf, Garrett Clark, and his golf swing. If you're new to my channel, welcome. Make sure you consider hitting that subscribe button. Make sure you like this video, comment your thoughts down below. This series called Pure is where we take a look at the best golf swings in the world, be that professionals, amateurs, all the swings you guys want to see in slow motion. We break them down, positives, negatives, to help you guys understand them, take pieces from each of them, and help you basically improve your golf and improve your golf swing. So if you're unfamiliar with Garrett Clark, I'm not sure where you've been. He's all over Instagram, YouTube. He's absolutely smashing it at the moment. And not just that, but he's actually a really, really good golfer. He got into college to play golf, only to be told he wasn't allowed to play golf in the NCAA, which is the National kind of Amateur Association, because of his social media content, because he was basically earning money from that, and they kind of classed that as being some sort of professional, which isn't really fair. But he's one hell of a golfer, and I highly recommend checking out his Instagram, his YouTube, all linked down below if you haven't already. He hits some amazing trick shots, some amazing stingers, and today we are going to be taking a look at his famous 2-iron golf swing. He hits some incredible shots with that, and we've got a great video from him of a really good slow motion 2-iron swing. So let's dive straight in. So this is a really interesting golf swing. There's a lot to pick up from it. Here we have Garrett set up with his 2-iron, and a few things to note at address. Posture is really good, nice and relaxed. No kind of arching in that lower back. It's quite rounded. We quite like that. Legs, good amount of knee bend. Everything else, arms nice and relaxed. One thing I will draw your attention to, it seems he's addressing the ball off the heel of the golf club if you're looking closely. I'm not sure why this is. I'm not sure if this is maybe a conscious thing he does. I know a lot of good players who actually do address the ball off of the heel. I'm talking people like Luke Donald have done this for a long time. For me, I just like to address it out the middle. I think I'd hit far too many shanks if I addressed it off the heel of the golf club. But overall, really good setup like that. Garrett is quite a tall guy. I've actually met him in person at the PGA show in January. He's a tall guy. He's pretty skinny as well. So bear that in mind. That does have some influence on his golf swing. And as we take the club away, there's going to be quite a lot of similarities between his swing and a lot of the professionals we've seen and we've analysed through the previous few weeks. So the first thing I really, really like about Garrett's swing is as he takes the club away, it's this huge, beautiful, wide takeaway with his arms and hands connected to the body. They're staying in front of the body. It's a huge, wide takeaway. That club head is on a really wide arc, and he's using the body as the engine to take the club away. This is something we've talked about in previous swings with Rory McIlroy, Bryson DeChambeau, Tiger Woods, loads of these guys. They all do it. They use the body as the engine to move the golf club. I think a lot of amateurs, I see it a lot, they take the club away with the hands, either rolling it inside or just picking it up steeply, not really getting much rotation in their golf swing. As we continue to take Garrett's swing to the top, hinges the club up beautifully. Swing plane is just beautiful. His hands and arms are quite high, but again, he's a tall guy, so he kind of has to do this. He has these huge long levers, and if you actually look at his right arm, it's actually not that bent in comparison to some of the other swings we've looked at, like Scott Stallings, very bent right arm completely in front of him. Garrett's a much longer golf swing, again because he has those long levers. He's using that to his advantage, and he keeps the club on a huge wide arc. Also, really good pivot from Garrett. You can see that right leg is pretty straight, a lot of bend in the left leg, really coiling up through the spine, and yeah, really using the ground well. He's loaded into that right side of his body. He's got quite a lot of left bend, meaning his spine angle is quite over the ball, which I think is one thing he could look at maybe just adapting a little bit, because it does affect his downswing. So if we slowly start to take the club down, we're going to notice he's really going to use the ground. His hips are going to start to rotate. His body's going to start to rotate. That club stays really, really deep, really in behind him. But his actually, if we pause it here, his elbows and his forearms throughout the whole golf swing stay very, very close together, very connected. And this is something that Ben Hogan talked a lot about, and a lot of really good players in the game work on this, is actually keeping your elbows basically through the whole golf swing as close as possible. Justin Rose does this as well. You may have seen him doing some kind of smart ball training with this ball in between his arms where he's hitting shots with it, working on keeping that feeling of keeping the arms and elbows together. And Garrett does this really, really well, and he's in a really, really good position here. As he comes down into impact, he does start to early extend a little bit. If we pause it here parallel to the ground, the club face is quite open, and this is something that he kind of matches up in a second with how he releases the club, but that is quite an open club face. And also important to mention, Garrett hits a lot of trick shots, a lot of stingers, moving the ball around, so it's pretty understandable that he would have a lot of feel in his hands, be able to work the ball both ways, kind of skills he's picked up on from creating content basically. And so that's kind of not surprising that he'll have that kind of feel of the release of the club in his hands. One other thing I want to draw your attention to here is that right foot is completely flat on the ground. This is something I personally really like to see. I don't like seeing that right heel or that right knee kicking up and moving in towards the ball. That can cause really bad swings, shanks, and all sorts of problems. One of the only players who really does that well is Justin Thomas, and I just wouldn't recommend it for the average golfer. It can work to generate power, but I just wouldn't recommend it. But Garrett's in a great position here. He's created a lot of space between his body and the golf ball. As we take it down into impact, he starts to release that club head. His body pretty much stops rotating, which is good. You need to stop the body rotating to let the arms catch up. And at impact, he's in a really good position here. He has early extended a little bit just in the hips, and you can see this in some rounding of his spine and lower back, which isn't the worst thing in the world, but you know, it might be something he would look at if he was going to try and make it as a tour player or something, just for longevity as well, I think, of a career. That can put a lot of pressure through your lower back, and you know, golf is a repetitive sport, so that kind of can eventually lead to injury. But still, incredible position here. I love how tucked in that right elbow is into his body. I think that's amazing, and you know, creates a lot of power from that. Watch as Garrett releases the club here, because this is what I mentioned about earlier, matching up with that slightly open club face. He gets a little bit kind of scoopy with the club, and what I mean by that is the right palm doesn't really stay facing the floor. It kind of starts facing the sky quite quickly, and he gets a lot of cup in the left wrist. So watch this as he releases it through. That right palm starts to face the sky. If we look there, that right palm's actually pointed up, and as he swings through, we can see a lot of cup in that left wrist here, which it's not a bad thing. It's just a slightly different release pattern. It could put a lot of pressure through that left wrist, but overall it's a pretty good golf swing, and he has this beautiful iconic kind of balanced finish here. So if we take this swing back to the start and have a look at it a couple more times, there's a few other really impressive things I want to draw your attention to. First of all is the rhythm. If we just play this swing just from the start, just have a look at the beautiful tempo and rhythm of this golf swing. It's really in timing, there's nothing out of place, it's just perfectly together. It just looks right. It gets to the top, he turns, then he stops the body, the hands catch up and release, and as you can see, it's absolutely beautiful shot, high, absolutely bombed 2-iron. And that's something I think everyone can learn from a swing like this, is just the relaxed nature of it. It's a tight golf swing, it's a tight movement, it's well rehearsed, you can tell he's a good player, but it's a relaxed tempo. It's a really good rhythm. He's not really lashing at the ball. He's never really swinging that hard at it, or it doesn't look like he is. And that's what all the best golf swings do. They look effortless. They look easy. And that's what, when you watch the PGA Tour guys, it looks so easy. And it's so frustrating because, as we all know, it's not that easy. But it really does look that way for GM Golf. And he has an absolutely incredible golf swing. And speaking of GM Golf, here are a few of my favorite of his trick shots. I hope you guys did enjoy this video. Remember to like, subscribe, comment your thoughts down below, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Enjoy these trick shots, and remember guys, as always, grip it and rip it.
Have a nice night, guys. You too, bro. Oh! What? Oh! Oh!
Every time I'm in the street, I hear